Hi everyone, I am Vinesh Garg, and for many years now I am working on the intersection of products, UX design, content strategy, content design, bit of product marketing, brand storytelling. So I'm doing this very short series of small videos to share my experiences and my gains by and a lot of opinions that we form based on our own judgment and awareness of how we see our work and the industry in general. So since I'm just beginning, there is no defined structure of how I plan to do this series. There are no defined patterns or not even the goals. I just want to be myself, talking about my work and experiences and the things that we see and observe around us into digital and technology world, around the people and the processes, how we plan, design, and ship products. Okay, so we see design in a real life, right? Be it the tap design, particularly in India, but else that the stories are well documented everywhere. And sometimes, or most often, I should say, when we call something as engineering failure, this is design failure in a lot of ways. And so I have been talking a lot about the intersection of different functions and teams. So the success of products do not lie in design or content or marketing or sales or onboarding metrics. It lies on the intersection of all those people and all those teams, or how they work collectively towards the goals, right? So I take some examples of some positive investments into content design and information hierarchy on the interface. So again, it's not really only about content or design. It's about the general awareness of the product sense and product judgment, how we make the right kind of investments collectively, regardless of the team and function. And so often we see these issues in the products where it doesn't really make sense for the customers, regardless of who has been doing it or who owns these kind of negative experience or questionable experience into products. We see it all the time, right? And since I mentioned marketing and product positioning and brand storytelling, sometimes in some episodes, I might be talking about how product content strategy enables product marketing and sales goals, whatever the goals are, and how these work together holistically and collectively, um, without really the boundaries of where they sit in the organization. We have seen so many examples of how organizations invest into storytelling to to frame the message in the language that the customers understand for the specific issues or needs and wants and goals or pain points and struggles of their customers and audience. So Tom Shoes is one of my favorite examples that I've used so often in my talks. We know Soul Cycle, Airbnb, SaaS pricing page, as I say, that it's the lifeblood of the SaaS because it's a driving force that makes the business sustainable. Okay, and yeah, I mean, this is one of the quotes again I use so often, that you cannot fix content by fixing content, or you cannot fix design by fixing design. It has to be the system. So in some ways, I encourage the teams to build on their metrics literacy, how and why their work, whether they are into interactions, design, content, marketing, storytelling, research, support, how ultimately it contributes to the measurable product metrics. So we need to build some product literacy, some product metrics literacy, some economics, or the economics of doing our work into whatever function we sit in. And we talk about design systems and content systems, how design systems are changing, how these, what kind of future we might see in design systems outside of the technology and tools. And to put all these into practice somehow, somewhere, we'll have a look at some of the principles that would be our guiding light somewhere beyond our design systems and intranets. These are principles that needs to be strongly baked into our processes into, whether we are into marketing, content, design, engineering, of course, support. So that's how I see doing these short videos, taking some of these subjects one by one, but most often on the intersection of where these intersect for our common vision. So I hope that it inspires some conversations, maybe raising some difficult or uncomfortable questions for how we work in a certain way and how we can make some better and positive contribution for our own self, for the teams, for the organizations, for the industry as a whole. And I hope that I might carry on doing it. And after a few episodes, we might give it some structure and an associated goal for that episode. In some cases, I also might invite some guests for a quick 1 minute, their inputs or thoughts or opinions on the topic in hand. So let's see how it goes. Thank you so much for joining me.